I'm good at one thing, it's business. Over 31 years, I've done over $1 billion in transactions and have accumulated a $250 million portfolio. People have offered to give me money along the way for a full day session or to consult them on a project. I don't want to charge, I want to give it to you for free. Today, I'm going to dive into the necessary skills that you need to be successful in business. These skills I've accumulated over the years based on the foundation. No matter what industry you're in, what you're doing, these skills and mindsets will make you successful. You got to start off with a few concepts. Never, ever give up. If you won't quit, you can never fail. Say that again. If you won't quit, you'll never fail. You'll keep learning until you get it right. Every successful business person that you see, from Elon Musk to the guy across the street, had that mindset. Never, ever quit. Work hard. The foundation of everything in this country, if you show up every day and do right, the country will work well. But you have to bring it, you have to love it, which is very important. Finding something that you enjoy creating value on. If you don't like what you do, you're off at a negative disadvantage because you're not going to be doing something that feels right. You got to get up every day excited. You got to fall asleep. You got to wake up thinking about it, which leads to a concept that I think a lot about, which is, what am I good at? What do I like doing? And how do I create value? If you create value, it's easier to do if you like it and you're good at it. So make a list of all the things you like doing, all the things you're good at, and how to create value. Capture a piece of that value. Whether you're showing up to a job for an hourly, you're capturing a piece of the value created. Or whether you're buying a big business and flipping it and making money, you're capturing a piece of the value you created. It's just that simple. So there's a lot of ways to capture value. You can capture it with a consulting agreement. You can capture it with a brokerage agreement. You can capture it by buying the business. You can capture it by showing up every day, getting your salary, and helping grow the mission and working your way up till you're running that division. There's no right or wrong. It's just who you are as a person, what do you like doing, and how are you going to go capture value. But once you understand that mindset, you might realize that, okay, I've helped capture value for a few years doing this role. Now I'd like to start my own company and do it there. Will you get the hourly or the weekly or the annual? No. However, you'll get the bottom line and you'll end up being able to build a team, pay those people to learn those skills and enjoy that part. Just remember, capture value, catch a piece. Offense versus defense. You got to take risks in life. I had a mentor in New York City that I was out to dinner with for a while, and he used to say, we go out, and I was from Daytona Beach, moving to New York. He'd say, Josh, why don't you talk more about where you're from? I'm like, well, you know, Florida public schools. I'd make a joke. Daytona Beach, bike week, racing. It's not exactly like the buttoned up tie in New York City. And at the time, I was probably late 20s. He looked at me across the table and said, that's ridiculous. I wish that my kids have more grit and motivation like you do. And I'm like, what are you talking about? His kids are third generation, high educated, you know, this and that. And what I learned from that was be yourself, be who you are. And he found it fascinating that I was on offense. I wasn't scared to go out and jump into business and try. While being on defense meant the whole time you're sitting there, I don't want to mess up and look bad. My father, my boss, or whatever. It's okay. Be on offense, take risks, but know your downside. Never take one risk that can wipe you out and destroy your life. That's not necessary. Little cliffs where you grow relationships, liquidity, and expertise along the way. Your word is your bond. My mother was an entrepreneur in Daytona Beach. Her word was her bond. And that meant that whenever someone did business with her, they knew if she said something, she was going to do something. So I've found that over my 31 years in the journey, by honoring that, you build sustainable, lifelong relationships because people can count on you saying and doing what you say, which is very important. All the buzz about being an entrepreneur, everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. Why? What are they actually trying to do? Well, they're trying to create value and capture a piece. But to be an entrepreneur, to be clear, is not easy. It means you're either going to come up with some new idea from scratch, or you're going to take an existing idea and make it exponentially better to where you beat the rest of the marketplace. God bless entrepreneurs. I personally realized I'm not an entrepreneur. I'm not starting anything magical. I'm an opportunist. I'm looking at opportunities that are in the existing marketplace and figuring out how can I position myself to get in front of those opportunities. In the recession, I realized that people were scared to buy land in Florida. I looked at the chart and I saw property goes up 8% a year. Stock goes up 8% a year. Therefore, if property values drop 50%, all I have to do is buy low and believe in America, believe in the state of Florida, believe in migration, economic growth, and that worked. That was an opportunist. I didn't do anything riveting, but getting 250 acres in the state of Florida distressed was a good strategy. Another strategy that I learned along the way that was low risk, but still was achievable, working with one business to help expand their empire. You take their lease, you go find land, you build them a build-to-suit that works for their business, and it grows. Is it a brand new idea? No, but it's an executable idea that worked for my business, my relationship, relationships. I can give you ideas all day long about opportunist versus entrepreneur, but just realize it's not about the ego. It's just about having a sustainable growth idea and figuring out how to get in front of. What's your life strategy? I knew growing up that I enjoyed watching high-rises being built. I knew that managing portfolios was interesting. I knew that the politics of all this stuff that impacted society was important. I recognized when I was young that you either, you create a family, you create projects, you create a business, or you create legislation. All humans are, men and women, we're builders. We're here to build something. The second you're not building something, whatever that is to you, then you're not adding back to society, and you're gonna wake up with anxiety. We're gonna wake up with regret. Stress is simply knowing that something is wrong and not taking action to fix it. Anxiety is simply knowing that you might not be living up to your full potential and you can do more. So as I was going along the journey growing up, I said, wow, these are these things that I would like to do in a perfect world. Well, when I got to college, I wasn't exactly gonna go build a high-rise or run a fund, but I did realize I could start a little business doing some promotions, make a little bit of money, use that money to start buying and renovating properties. And so that's what I did. First property I moved into, I got really good financing. So it was a low down payment. I fixed it up, lights, paint, floor, the little things. And then after a few months of living there, I loved it. I was so proud. But I recognized that based on the cool lights, I could rent it for more than my neighbors. $200, $300 a month more in rent. That was $3,600 a year in more rent. Well, I maybe put $3,000 or $4,000 into the renovation. So I said, I need to buy the property next door and do the exact same thing. Again, nothing riveting, just execution. So I did that 10 or 20 times. Vince Lombardi, epic, right? First Super Bowl winner. He had one play, the toss sweep. The other teams were frustrated. Why? Why do you keep running the same play? Mr. Lombardi said, very simple, very humble, with his first Super Bowl trophy. I'm gonna keep running it until they stop it, until the economy changes or it doesn't work. That's a simple thing with business as well. So at that point in the journey, continuing to do the houses, but recognized I wanted to get larger transactions. So started to move to commercial. So doing the same things, just doing it at a higher scale. So with the life strategy concept, I'm now halfway through the journey, but I'm in the direction of where I want to be. Do I know exactly how I'm going to get there? No. But I'll tell you, every day I look at high-rise sites. Every day when I see a project that fascinates me, I work with those projects. I create value for other high-rise projects that I'm working on in order to get the relationships, liquidity, and expertise while creating value and helping those long-term relationships. Valuing your time. One of the most important elements that we all know is you only have 24 hours in a day. You're supposed to sleep 7 or 8. So a third of it is gone. If 8 hours is your prime time, you still have 8 other hours that you can do things. Very important to figure out, we're not meant to sit or talk or do this. We're meant to be going all day, hunting, finding, gathering, right? So just understand, you need to do some physical activity all day. If you're feeling anxious, get up in the morning, go for a walk, go for a jog. On the other end of the spectrum, lifting weights a few times a week builds more mental discipline and physical discipline and wealth than words can describe. Like, everybody knows that. But so you've only got a certain amount of time. So after you've determined that you need to do these things and try to eat good energy and have mindset in that time, you realize I maybe only have 10 hours, 12 hours a day to go do my projects and work on things. So one system that I came up with is called time coding. Your blue time is what you do in your 2,000, 3,000 hours a year. If you were to take your salary and divide it by the hours you worked, that would be your hourly value of that. If you're an entrepreneur and you created $500,000 over a 12-month period and you divide that by your hours, you then still know what your hourly value is to society. Everyone should know what their hourly value is to society, because once you know that, you can determine, well, when I was winning the project, that was dark blue. When I was sending emails, that was light blue. So if your time's worth $1,000 an hour because you're a more established professional, you should do more sales to build up more your dark blue time. You should have teammates help you with your emails and outsource that. Building on that idea, I used to go Sunday nights to Walmart, buy all the groceries I could for a cheap price to save money. Now at this point in the journey, I eat healthier food and I now pay someone in what I call red time to deliver the groceries to me, so I pick back up that hour. Because while I'm paying the $20 fee and then a $20 tip, that's $40 that I'm paying for someone to bring the groceries. But over here, I told you that in a good day of $1,000 an hour. Therefore, you just arbitraged $960 in that hour. So that's your red, that's your blue, okay? Your black time is more valuable than your blue time. Your black time is being willing to say, it's Sunday afternoon, I'm gonna shut off everything. I'm just gonna sit back and think. I'm gonna reflect. What is it that I wanna get out of my blue, my red, and then the most important time is your white time. What's your point of light? Why are you here? Why are you doing all this? Some people, they wanna grow their family. Other people wanna conquer the world. Other people wanna travel. travel. There's no right or wrong. We just have to recognize that your white time is why you do everything. So based on that, use your black time or your strategy thinking time to make sure that you're sailing the ship in the right direction of where you want, find your gold, and live your journey. If you don't stop and think, your emails, you'll come in, do this. Weekends, you'll be out with people, you'll do this, you'll do that. You'll never stop to make sure, is my boat going in the direction I want it to go in? On time management, urgent, important matrix. Very simple concept. If you look at a square, and on one side you have urgent things, and another side you have important things. Some things are not urgent and not important. What's that? A spam email? You hit delete, you ignore it. Other things are both urgent and important, and that's like, oh my goodness, my business had a liquidity crisis and I have to solve it right now to keep the business going. Sometimes you do have urgent, important things. Then you have urgent things that aren't important. That's where a lot of people get confused because, stimulation, inbox, get that, move it. Is it helping? Yes, but don't forget your goal of valuing your time. You don't want to just be distracted by urgent things. You want to be working on high value activities, which leads to the last quadrant that's absolutely the most important, which is your important time that's not urgent. What is that? That goes back to the concept of black. That goes back to thinking about how to plan my business, plan what I work on, and doing those long range activities so you have less urgent fires in front of you. Who you do business with is everything. I use the term go, no go checklist, and I had a mentor that taught me this concept. And the philosophical idea when she was teaching it to me was that there's a lot of people you come across you can do business with. Are they qualified like a business person? Do they have the product you want? Are they can you sell them the product? Can you sell them the service? That's what entry-level basic business thinking is. A more advanced mindset is who should I do business with based on a go, no go checklist? Do you have trust, rapport, respect? All those things are critical, as well as can you do the transactions you want? You should always have a go, no go checklist, because if you don't trust someone or you don't feel good about it, save yourself the damage of the journey of being upset and doing business with someone that's not healthy. It kills your energy. Your positive energy is everything in life and business. Relationships, the most important of everything that we have in life. The point of life is relationships. How do you grow relationships? Proactive generosity. How can I help you? Always think about how to be fair with your partner. It needs to be a win-win. There's a really good saying that pigs get fed, hogs get slaughtered. If you get too fat, the world will come down on you because you're being greedy, you're fighting, everything will turn against you. If you have an abundance mindset versus a scarcity mindset, meaning everyone in the room can eat, everyone can be successful, we can all go do it. That's how you stay positive and have success. If you have a scarcity mindset and you're stepping around trying to put all the dollars in your pocket, not helping, collaborating, worrying about others, that will maybe work for a couple of transactions, but it's not a sustainable way to live your life or to grow your business. And in the long run, the markets will fail. Remove ego. One of the other big detriments that I've learned over the years, and I struggle with it every day. Everybody struggles with it every day, right? Ego can be some guy that's this and that. Ego can be the littlest things. I got my feelings hurt in an interaction. I didn't even notice it. It caused me to handle things differently. Being aware of ego is really hard. Everyone has it. But the simple fact that you think about it and you try to manage it, you're way ahead of everybody else already. Through all these lists, the most important of everything is a positive mindset. No matter what the circumstances are, shift yourself. That was pretty bad, but what can I learn from it? That person did this and took this from me. Well, at least now I know, and they can't do it to me again. If you approach everything with continual positivity and you recognize that I'm just gonna go forward and try my best, you can do anything in this life and really in this country. We're blessed with a free market system that we don't even understand. Only thing that can happen is negative thoughts and inaction. That's again, the anxiety and stress is just from not taking action. In 31 years, that's what I've learned, and I now believe that I can take those skill sets into any industry I want and be successful. Can I be the most successful? I don't know, but can I be successful? Yes. To be the most successful, it has to be things you like and you're also good at and bring that energy. But the point that I want to make is over the 31 years, just keep doing that, show up every day with a smile, treat people right, and the rest works itself out. Continual learning is an important part of all of our journeys up until the end. I've been in business for 31 years, and these are a few things that I've learned that I want to share. I'd love to hear your stories and the tidbits that you've learned along the way. Please share them in the comments so the rest of the audience can learn from your wisdom, your mistakes, your growing pains. I look forward to seeing you on future videos where we'll talk more about technical aspects of investing, business, and life. Today we covered mindset, and we'll do more in the future. If you enjoyed today, feel free to click subscribe and follow down below. Thanks for your following.